Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Let's Play Shining Force. As you can see, I'm in the middle of the battle against General Elliot again. I just cut out about 15 minutes of nothingness there. A few things have changed, however. As you can see, Bouffant is now promoted. And his Bouffant is huger than ever. His Bouffant is now actually bigger than the rest of his head. It's honestly a little frightening. Another thing you might notice is his stats are worse than when I promoted him. He has fewer magic points, he has lower defense, and slightly lower attack as well. That's what happens when you promote people, folks. They just straight up lose stats. It's not cool, but it is what happens. And, as you might have also noticed, he's at half health from a single hit from a Pegasus Knight. That is what happens when you promote people. They become really, really weak for a little while. Which is why, at least in theory, it's much, much better if you can promote people piecemeal, rather than promoting everyone on your team at once. Because if you promote everyone at once, well, that leads to bad things like your entire force being pitifully underleveled. Alright. I'm trying to decide if I want to leave that Pegasus Knight for Gort, or if I want to have Bouffant take care of him. I think I might have Gort finish off this one, actually. And leave that other Pegasus Knight for Bouffant. Now that Bouffant is about as strong as a newborn child, I really, really need to level him up. And that means he's going to need to cut his teeth on some weakened enemies for a while until he's strong enough to actually be a participating member of our force again. Not that he was that great before, but, you know. You get the idea. One thing I will say that's good about Bouffant, now that he's been promoted, is he has a much cooler looking attack animation than he had before. Looks like moving Gort and Ken out there has called down the wrath of the mob upon us. And I don't mean the Mafia. Alright, check this out. Here's his new attack animation. Oh! So cool. And it looks even cooler once he starts getting some of the more powerful swords. Unfortunately, the longsword is, in my opinion, somewhat underpowered compared to the middle axe and the power spear. Oh, Ken doesn't need that. I'm just gonna have him come back and reform the line over here. Hopefully, I will be able to bring Gort back before these guys just totally slaughter him. He does have pretty good defense, so he can take a few whacks. But I was hoping... Oh dear. That must have been the one with the heat axe. That is one big advantage to doing this battle a whole bunch of times, is you can get the heat axe a whole bunch of times off that lizard man. Oh dear. I'm afraid that's going to be the end of Gort for this battle. Crap. I didn't realize that Lizard Man with the heat axe would do so much damage. That's really kind of frightening, honestly. And it only makes me more eager to promote Gord and give him the heat axe that we got off that Lizard Man the first time. As you can see, I really have no choice here but to move up my line. May is going to get creamed if I don't. Unfortunately, I'm starting to get a little short on fighting men here, and I really don't want to move Bouffant too close to that ball of death, because, let's face it, he doesn't have defense for, you know, worth anything right now. It'll only take a couple of whacks, and that'll be the end of the battle. Frankly, I'd rather even have Balbaroy up here, taking hits. And that was a pretty good whack from Balbaroy, gotta give him credit. That Birdman knows how to use a sword. And that is a nice, satisfying Blaze 2 out of Henri. Helping to thin the ranks. Ooh, and a deadly attack. Very nice. The fewer Pegasus Knights there are on this battlefield, the better. That's what I say. And she discovered a heat axe. That was an awfully good Blaze 2 right there. This is why I love Henri. So now that I have a second heat axe, it would almost be worth it for me to bring Luke back onto the force. Almost. However, I am dedicated to Kokichi. I am absolutely, positively insistent that he must be leveled and become a bulwark, I guess, or some sort of permanent member of my force. A bulwark of flying justice, how about that? Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That Lizard Man wishes he'd never met Kokichi. One more kill for Kokichi and he'll be level 8. Which is still pretty under-leveled compared to everyone else on my team. But the thing you have to remember about Kokichi is, he's basically the closest you get to getting a Pegasus Knight on your team. And May's defense goes up even more. Yeah, you don't actually get a Pegasus Knight in this game. Kokichi's pretty much it. But other than the aesthetic differences, he's really pretty much the same. He evades a lot, he flies, he uses lances. Unfortunately, his defense isn't too hot. But I think we can probably take care of that with a little bit of leveling. Look at that. So far, Kokichi is by far the most evadingest person on my team. I know that's not a word, but I can't think of a better one. So we're just going to say he's the evadingest person on my team. And that's that. At least I didn't say he's the most evadingest. Or maybe I did say it. I don't remember at this point. Regardless, point is, we're actually winning this battle, which is a nice change of pace. I do like winning. I won't lie about that. Xylo showing us once again just what a frightening combatant he is. Dao still equipped with nothing because I once again forgot to equip her with the staff. But it doesn't matter. Magic is magic is magic. Does the same damage no matter what. I know Ken misses these Pegasus Knights like it's his job, but it seemed worthwhile just to wipe that one out. I can't stand those suckers. Their constant evasions. It's like they're politicians. I can't decide if I want to feed that lizard man to Gong or to Kokichi. I might have them double team him, just so they each get a slice of the pie. From the looks of things, it's gonna be Kokichi who gets to land the killing blow. Indeed it is. And Kokichi goes to level 8. Hit points increased by 3, which is a nice little boost there. I wouldn't mind seeing some of his other stats increase, but it's hard to complain about a 3 hit point increase. Well, that's the bulk of the battle right there, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, all we have left are a couple of Dark Priests and that rather pitiful force over on the right side of the battlefield. The only thing that's really worth worrying about at this point is General Elliot himself. General Elliot, Nova wasn't kidding around about him being a tough swordsman. He's actually pretty hard to kill. So much so that I'm considering doing a save state, just in case things go south when I actually approach him. Oh, and here come the Silver Knights. Experience. Ooh. Not what I was hoping for. I might have to have Bouffant kill off his Silver Knight just to get him some decent experience. Luckily, that Dark Priest is more interested in self-preservation than he is in attacking Bouffant. I'm moving Xylo there, in case you're wondering why, for the primary purpose of making sure that Bouffant cannot get surrounded by enemies when those Silver Knights finally join us. Gort, unfortunately, already learned a painful lesson in what happens when you let yourself get surrounded. Just like Gong has just learned a painful lesson in what happens when you suck. Gong, stop sucking. That's my helpful advice to Gong. Balbaroy, on the other hand, needs no coaching. He knows what to do. Take your weapon and put it in the enemy. It's that simple. At this point in the game, that's actually pretty pitiful damage to be doing to Bouffant, given how absurdly low his defense is right now. Yeah, just compare to Xylo. Xylo took a single point of damage from that. Oof. Even the Dark Priests are dealing more damage to Bouffant. But they are dealing damage to Bouffant, unfortunately. So we're going to move him back a bit. Hopefully get him some experience just from attacking this sucker. He desperately needs to level up. Speaking of desperately, I desperately need to get a healer over to Bouffant. Hello, it looks like it falls to you. Simply because I cannot risk waiting around for Gong or Chris at this point. I'm not sure if I want Dao to cast a spell at this point, but I will take this opportunity to finally equip her with the Power Staff. And as for you, Xylo, well, why don't you move over here? Well, let's see, how much life do these guys have? They're all at full, aren't they? Xylo, I'm going to move you there. Again, mostly for purposes of keeping the enemy from surrounding Bouffant. And also to keep that Dark Priest busy. Unfortunately, I really need more men in order to effectively keep Bouffant from getting hit from more than one side. Is that the third time that Silver Knight is gone? Before Gong has had a chance to go? Let's see, where's Kokichi at? Yeah, okay. And Gong, oh wow! Literally anything at all will level up Gong at this point. That is good to know. You, on the other hand... I'm tired of seeing that Dark Priest's ugly face. See, I don't want to do that, because Ken's going to kill him in one hit. And I have plans for that guy. I need him alive. See, it's times like this where I actually appreciate the AI not being so ruthless. Although it's not for the right reasons. Really what they should have done when they were making this game is made it so that you wouldn't lose all of your character's stats when you promoted them. It's such a silly thing to do. It artificially boosts the difficulty, but not in a good way. Really what they should have done is just made it so that your characters just continually got better, and better, and better. And in exchange, made it so the AI was just competent, you know? A consistent challenge. Attack increases by 5. Ooh, Gong. That was such a good level up. I'm so proud of you, buddy. Gong is going to be a force to be reckoned with, ladies and gentlemen. It hasn't happened yet, but it's going to. I am not taking any chances with Bouffant here. At least, assuming that the AI doesn't suddenly decide to do something intelligent. There's really nothing to be done about that if the AI decides to... You know what, speaking of which, there. I just saved a state. Because you never know when the AI decides it's going to be clever in this game. Now Gong can actually do some damage here if he wanted to. I might have him take out this Dark Priest. No. Gong continues this long tradition of missing the Dark Priests. His agility's 11. What is the Dark Priest's agility? 10. I can't think of any good reason for Gong to be missing the Dark Priests that consistently. It's sort of a mystery. And not the good kind, where they do like a little mini documentary about it on the Discovery Channel either. Poor Kokichi, suffering yet more needless damage. Oh, the indignity. Luckily, I think he's gonna finally take out this Silver Knight. Well done, Kokichi. Oh! The AI finally decided that it was time to start behaving intelligently. That's a shame. Well, luckily, we have healers on the line ready to heal Bouffant whenever the AI decides to do something like that. Unfortunately, this is using up a lot of magic points that I'm probably going to need when I go down and fight Elliot down there in the on the right side of the battlefield. It really changes the dynamic of the battles a lot when you have to baby your hero so much. Personally, I don't care for it. I much prefer my hero to be an autonomous, useful fighter in his own right. Well, he's finally taken out a Silver Knight, and gained a pathetic 25 experience for his trouble. Luckily, he's very close to leveling up. Hopefully that will actually happen pretty soon. Now Low's level 6. And he gained 1 speed. Low... yeah. Not much to say about that, other than that it's disappointing. Much like Low himself. I'm gonna see if I can coax out that artillery. I'm tired of toying around with these lousy Silver Knights. was thinking about something I said in an earlier episode about counterattacks. I'm starting to wonder if perhaps I was thinking of a different Shining Force, because I haven't seen a single enemy counterattack in this game. I'm wondering if I was actually thinking of Shining Force 2, because I'm pretty sure enemies counterattack in that one, albeit infrequently. And he's level 2, thank God! Attack increases by 2, defense increases by 3, speed increases by 5, maximum hit points increase by 3, maximum magic points increase by 1. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a hell of a level up. I'm going to save state immediately. Bouffant may have been pretty useless for most of this battle, but he's starting to make up some ground. An attack of 25 is respectable. Defense of 13 is still low, but much better than 10. And an agility of 14 is actually pretty good. As you can see, Xylo is better than him in every single category right now, but that still puts Bouffant within the realm of not entirely worthless, which at this point is pretty decent. You can't expect too much from characters right after you promote them. And getting a level up like that, well, that's a pretty big deal. Means I'm not going to have to baby him quite as much in future battles. Although, in this particular battle, I still need to keep him well away from General Elliot, who will probably be able to, if not one-shot him, come pretty close. General Elliot is a very strong enemy. In fact, let's take a look at his stats real fast. As you can see, he has an attack of 32. Which is equal to Ken's attack. He also has a defense of 17, which, let's just compare him to Ken for a second here. Oh, I'm sorry, Ken actually has a slightly higher attack, but he has far lower defense and agility. Worse, General Elliot is one of those bosses that regenerates health every round, meaning that even when you kill that Dark Priest, who's standing next to him, you still have to deal with him constantly regaining lots of health. Which, as you might imagine, is not fun. Particularly when he's ripping apart your entire force. The fact that I have neither Luke nor Gort right now concerns me. I'm not sure how well I'm going to be able to contain Elliot without taking casualties at this point. It might just not be feasible. Ken, May, and Xylo are the 3 people I have right now who I'm sure can take a hit, or maybe even 2 hits, from Elliot without crumbling. I definitely don't want to put Bouffant next to him, though. Kokichi, I'm not sure he can handle it. He's not high level at this moment. Yeah, as you can see, he has a defense of 11, which is pretty poor at this point in the game. I'm going to have him come up and attack this artillery. Another one of those level ups where you gain nothing. The artillery isn't too powerful, but I prefer to kill it before it ever gets a shot off. Oh good, Balbaroy's defense increased. If there's one thing I know about Dark Priests, it's that they should die. and I'm going to make that very thing happen. Right now. Or not. Maybe I won't make it happen. Way to make me look stupid, game. Alright, Xylo. I want you to start working on General Elliot here. Now, look at General Elliot. He looks super cool. I think we can all agree on that. But I think I was wrong about him being a dragon. I don't think he's actually a dragon at all, because he has no wings. I think he's actually some kind of crazy exotic lizard man, as much as he looks like a dragon. Simply because his characteristics don't match those of the dragons you see later in the game. And you do, incidentally, see dragons later in this game. Sorry if that was the spoiler. Balbaroi has absolutely had it with this Dark Priest. Enough of your nonsense, he says. And so has Kokichi. That is the end of Mr. Dark Priest. We can finally close the book on that chapter. I hope Balbaroi survives this. And he does, but just barely. Then again, when you're dealing with General Elliot, just barely is good enough. As long as your characters don't actually die, it's a good thing. The main thing is to maintain a wall of containment that keeps them from running around and cutting down all your mages and healers. As long as you can maintain that wall, you're doing okay. And Ken's level 12. I have a feeling he will be pretty decent after I promote him. Balbaroi. Probably not going to do too much to Elliot here, but every little bit helps. In an ideal world, I'd be able to sneak Bouffant in for the finishing blow, but it's kind of tricky to do that when you're dealing with a health regenerating enemy. Whew. That is an awfully big attack. How much health does he? Okay, he has a defense of 15. Bouffant has a defense of 13. So, what you're seeing being done to Balbaroi, he'd actually be dealing even more damage if he were able to get a hit off on Bouffant. That is not something I want happening. Kokichi, why don't you just hang out over here for now? Whew. And General Elliot survives with a hit point. Now, if I can just sneak Bouffant in here somewhere, that will provide an ideal opportunity for him to get some nice experience. I don't know if May is the right person to move. I really don't want him coming around and killing Dao. Maybe if I can get Xylo to move out of the way, that might work a little better. I need to keep Gong's magic points in reserve just in case things go wrong. Which they very, very well might. And he's regenerated again. Yikes. See, that's something I don't need happening to Bouffant. That would be profoundly bad. Okay, I'm going to use a Blaze level 1. Actually, first I'm going to move Dao the heck out of there. Then I'm going to use a Blaze level 1. Which should bring Elliot to 1 hit point. Or 2. 2 hit points. That's okay. I can handle 2 hit points. Oh, that couldn't have gone better. I'm just going to save state here real fast in case something goes catastrophically wrong, but I don't think it will. I think this is the end of General Elliot, and I think Bouffant will be reaping the gains. There we go. Very, very good. Perhaps you have the strength to rescue King Ramladu and Runefaust. Stop Darksaul! Promise that you will free Runefaust, known as Protectora, before Darksaul came. Man, I love that they changed the name from Protectora to Runefaust. I mean, how much more obvious can you get? I wonder what the other countries were called. We had Guardiana, Protectora, Safeguardia, Shieldania, Keep Things Safistan. Yeah. And then Runefaust. I mean, come on, the world is called Rune. You might as well just call it, like... You might as well just call the country Evil McEvil, like... Whatever. Yes, he was a great warrior. Too bad. It's also a little too bad he gave that whole dignified speech and then just spun around a bunch of times and exploded. Kind of ruined the whole effect a little. Also, we apparently somehow outran the traveling town of Pau by creeping across that battlefield. I don't know how that happened, but if I were that engineer, I'd be kind of embarrassed about that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have time for in this episode of Let's Play Shining Force. I hope you've enjoyed watching. I know I've enjoyed playing. I'm Craig Stern, and I will see you next time.